if you're seeing physical symptoms in your body, it doesn't mean they're doing something wrong. It could just be that the universe, God, source, divine, is simply trying to communicate to you that something is out of balance in your life. And this might not be with your diet. This might not be with your supplements. It might not be with the physical things. It might be something completely energetic, but this is the only way that your soul and higher self and the universe know how to communicate to you. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back. Today, I'm going to be talking all about dismantling our beliefs around nutrition, health, and healing. This is a really important topic right now. And to be honest, I haven't felt very called to talk about nutrition and food and this realm for a little while now. And that's because, it's funny because that's the whole reason why I'm really into this field, is because of my health and my journey with my health. And I think in this journey with health, I've learned a lot about spirituality. And it's funny because it kind of always comes full circle, right? Because I'm always reminded that while, yes, the physical body doing the physical things, it's not the end all be all. It's really not. But it is important. And I see it shifting and changing a lot right now. And I really just feel so deeply passionate about this topic because I know a lot of people are still struggling with their health, with their diet, with their bodies, these vessels. Like, how do we live in these vessels that we have been gifted? We actually chose them. We chose these beautiful vessels to do life in, and yet we weren't given the blueprint. We weren't given the owner's manual for this body. And we live in such a, I'll say, science-driven, which feels very masculine-driven society currently. And it's all about eat this, don't eat this, do this, don't do this. And while this serves a time and a place, it's certainly not serving where we're going. And while I'm not saying we need to go all into the feminine and just live in complete flow all of the time, I do believe that it's balancing and harmonizing this masculine and this feminine, because the science can only get us so far. I'm really at a point where I believe that science, it's like half the story. It really is. It's only half the story because, so when I went to nutrition school, I got my graduate degree in nutrition. And I really thought that I just wanted to be a nutritionist. That was the plan. And in school, I learned about the compounds, the healing properties of certain foods, how many nutrients a blueberry has, and kale, and all of the vegetables and mushrooms. And I don't discount these. Of course, these are beautiful foods, but are they healing? Are they really truly healing? Are they healing for everyone? No. And so I think to just learn about the healing properties of food is actually doing us a huge disservice. Because how that food interacts with one person's body versus another person's body is very different. And who's to say, and I've talked about this before in different capacities, but who's to say that that blueberry will nourish your soul, will nourish the etheric body, will nourish the energy body, right? It might nourish the physical body, but we have multiple bodies. And so, and I've shared this story about my time in grad school where I got terrible eczema, and I was doing all of the things I was being taught to do in school for eczema, yet I still had very bad eczema. And I did the elimination diet and all of these diets because I thought that that's what I was supposed to do. But yet it wasn't going away. In fact, it was just getting worse because I was so stressed out about everything I was eating. And it wasn't until I did a hypnotherapy session that 2 weeks later, my eczema completely went away. And I think that was proof for me. That was proof for me that there's a lot more than just the physicality. But we also have to take care of the physicality. So where do we draw the line? How much is too much for taking care of our physical bodies versus not caring at all, right? And I just felt really called to talk about this today because, first of all, this is for people who, which if you're listening, I'm sure this is you, this is for people who have done the healing diets, who have tried protocols and different ways of eating and different energy techniques and all of these different things. And yet, here's the thing. Health is not I'm going to adjust this. If you're on YouTube, you're going to see me. Don't mind me while I'm adjusting my mic so my hair doesn't hit it. Anyways, and now I lost my train of thought now. Okay, so this is not for people who are just like eating McDonald's every day and like wondering why they're not feeling good. Okay, chances if you're listening, this isn't you. But this is for those who are on this healing path and who are, here's the thing, healing is not a destination. I will just tell you that right now. It's not a destination. There's always going to be a next level, and there's always going to be a higher version of you to step into. So don't ever think that you're broken or something because you haven't achieved quote health, right? Because it's not a destination. It's a journey. And for myself, I just am feeling very called to bring this topic up to the forefront again, because I believe that the universe, God, source, my soul, my higher self communicates to me through my body. And this is true for everyone. I just believe that we all have different levels of interpreting these messages, and it depends on how sensitive we are. And the more sensitive you are, I'm sure the stronger the messages you feel in your body are. And so when things aren't in alignment, it doesn't even have to be with your diet or with your food or with your supplements, but your body might be showing you symptoms. And so I'll see this happen. This happened for me recently, where I went through this phase of feeling like, okay, I enjoy hypnotherapy, but I don't feel called to label myself as a hypnotherapist. I don't feel called to label myself as a nutritionist. I don't feel called to label myself as an energy healer, as a channeler. All of these things that I do, that I'm certified in, that I spent tons of money for the certifications, like going to grad school and doing these things, but yet it's still limiting. It's still limiting all that I'm capable of and that I know is awaiting me. And similarly for you, your job, your career, your whatever you do is only one small facet of what you're capable of and what you are here to share and bring light to in this world. We all have these multi-dimensional bodies, lives that we were gifted, and yet people tell you like find a niche and stick with it, or get a job and do that. And really it's learning that our soul's truest expression might not just be that one thing. For some people it may, but I realized for myself it wasn't. And so as I was being shown this, my body was expressing to me. My body was expressing to me symptoms. And so I'm sure that if you are listening to this, and so here's the thing where I'm like really wanting to have people understand is, if you're seeing physical symptoms in your body, it doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It could just be that the universe, God, source, divine, is simply trying to communicate to you that something is out of balance in your life. And this might not be with your diet. This might not be with your supplements. It might not be with the physical things. It might be something completely energetic, but this is the only way that your soul and higher self and the universe know how to communicate to you. So I know for myself, I still catch myself doing this. I always would think that if I got symptoms in my physical body, that I did something wrong. I thought I must have eaten something bad. I must have not eaten clean enough. I should have whatever, done XYZ, not done XYZ. And all that is it's our ego. It's our built-in protection mechanism, which is not a bad thing. It's here to help us and keep us alive, but sometimes it can go in spirals in our mind and not necessarily facilitate in our greatest good. And so when we get in these thought spirals of what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? So when I see this showing up, it has been showing up. That's why I'm talking about this. I'm now being called to take a step back and be like, what if it's not my diet at all? What if it's not my supplements at all? What in my life is it? And so that's when I really became to realize, oh, like I've been limiting myself by calling myself a hypnotherapist, or by just doing hypnotherapy, or by just doing whatever it is for my profession. But what I enjoy doing most is just showing up in service. That's what I enjoy. And the crazy part about that is I don't always even know how that's going to look. If you follow me on Instagram, I shared this story on my stories about I needed a new computer. And I went on this wild goose chase. It felt like, of what am I going to do for this computer? So long story short is I had an event coming up, and I needed to get a new computer before that event because the sound wasn't working on my computer. And so oh my gosh. And so I was like, well, what computer should I get? Should I get the new expansive one? Should I get the one that just like suits my needs? All of these things. And anyways, I was really led. It was a wild day. So the day I decided, I was like, hey, I have this day off. I'm going to get my new computer. I wanted to just order it. And my guides were like, nope, you need to go in person. You need to go in person. And my ego was like, but Apple can like deliver it to my door this morning. And they were like, nope, you need to go in person. I was like, okay, looking up Apple places. And then I'm like, I'll go to the one in Portland. Nope, you need to go to the one in town over. So I'm like, okay, so this whole like should be like a very simple thing ends up turning to a whole day long experience where drive a town over to go to the store, wait in line, an Apple store I've never been to, And I was just like, the whole time though, I was like, it was like me watching. It was like I was watching a movie. It was like I was watching the movie of my life play out. And I didn't realize until about 30 or 40 minutes in, as I'm talking to this man, the man who was helping me. And he starts sharing, he's answering my questions, and he starts setting up my business account with Apple. And as he asks me about what I do, again, I'm like, well, what do I say I do? So I'm a hypnotherapist. And I just kind of left it at that. And he starts asking me, he was like very taken aback. And he says, oh, can you tell me more? And I shared with him a little bit about what I do. And he says, can I share something with you? And it was like in that moment, I just felt something so deeply within me that I was like, whoa, yeah, this is it. This is it. And he goes, I said, of course, please share with me. And he says, I've never told anyone this before. It's this reoccurring dream I've had since I was 3. He goes on to tell me about this dream. And I just witnessed him, and I held space. I didn't really say much. I just held space as I listened to this sweet man's story. And after he shared all of that, like I said, I didn't really say that much. After he shared all of that, he said, wow, thank you so much for listening. He said, I feel as though I've received healing from you just by being able to share my story. That's what I mean when I say, how could I ever just limit myself by saying I do one thing? I got the opportunity this day to go and meet this man and literally just listen. Just listen to his story. Just listen and hold space. And as I was leaving, he just kept thanking me. Thank you so much for coming in. It was such a pleasure to meet you. I feel so grateful for this encounter. Me, I'm like feeling like I've received the biggest blessing because I got to witness this man's healing and story. Like I saw the shift in him simply by me listening to him share. And so I share all of this because it's coming through and I feel guided to. And also because this is what I mean when I say that we're always being communicated to through these vessels. And so when I lean in to those types of experiences by following and trusting when it makes no logical sense, this whole day, it made no logical sense, but I felt so compelled and I just kept trusting and kept following. I kept trusting and I kept following. And what a beautiful, beautiful reminder that if we can truly just trust our higher selves and our guidance, that's where the magic is. And so as I circle back to our health and our healing and nutrition, these are the components that make up our ability to digest life, to assimilate and receive. So many people are so full of beliefs and narratives and false stories of who and what they think they should be, who and what they think is going on in the world. They can't even digest their food because they're still trying to digest the news, their feeds, their emails, their constant to-do list. They're trying to digest all of these other things. Of course, they wouldn't have extra energy left to digest their food. And then, of course, they're going to feel awful. Did it have anything to do with the food? No. And so this is where we come back to having this really radical forgiveness, grace, compassion, understanding that we are multidimensional beings. It's never just about the food. It's never just about the supplement. It's about all of the external factors, your environment, your stress, your relationships, your past traumas, your current traumas. It's about all of these things that make up this body. And if you are experiencing any symptoms in your physical body, I would just invite you to begin to look at where else am I feeling stressed? Where else is spirit leading and guiding me? You can ask. You can ask. Always ask. You know, that's such a funny thing is that, and I do this myself, is I'll be talking with a friend with this problem that I've had in my mind for days and days and days. And I'm like telling them, like asking for their guidance, like, can you tap in? Can you tell me what read do you get on it? And sometimes when I say all of this, one time my friend like literally called me out and she was like, well, have you asked? Oh, no, I didn't even ask. Ask your higher self, ask the universe, ask God, source, divine for guidance. And oh my gosh, and I actually just received that in my journaling, my channeling this morning. Actually, I'm going to bring that up. I'm going to bring it up because it was a 2-liner that was really powerful. They said to me, they said to me, I can find it. Okay, maybe I won't be able to find it. Okay, here we go. When you open up to insight, you open up to guidance. When you open up to guidance, be open to when you are guided. So simple, yet so profound. Because we are asking for the guidance so often. And then when we don't receive it like that, we're like, okay, no, universe isn't leading me, universe isn't guiding me, universe doesn't like me, it doesn't love me, it's not showing me my signs. No. Patience, first of all, and trust that you are receiving a sign. Trust. And so as we build these muscles of trust and discernment and understanding our body vessel and this benevolent universe that is always leading and guiding us, you can then begin to receive the answers for these questions about your body, about your health. So I really just want to share the two biggest things I believe when it comes to our ascension, finding harmony in our body. And the number one thing is trust. Number one, okay? Number two is neutrality. Now, if we can do these two things. They're very simple words. They're very complex, or not complex, but have complexities to them. I believe if we can begin to trust ourselves, trust that your body is always expressing to you in a way that is so loving, so gentle, for maybe not always gentle, but so lovingly guiding you. And sometimes this might be forceful to that which is of your greatest good. Always, period. Okay, like literally just last week, I was experiencing awful pain and symptoms, and I like literally brought me to tears. And I just was like crying out to the universe, like, why am I here again? Why am I here again? 2 days later, I kid you not, I am like in such deep gratitude that I had those symptoms, because I saw exactly why I had them. And I was literally on the other side of it in 2 days. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that what I thought I needed to do to fix everything didn't work, because I was able to see how resilient and beautiful and how precise the level of precision that our body gives us and does for us it blows my mind. And the level of intricacy and knowledge that these bodies have is incredible. And so 2 days later, I'm just stunned, and I'm just like, wow, thank you, body, for doing this to me and for me and supporting me. Thank you. Thank you for that not working out the way I wanted it to, because it worked out even better than I thought it could or would. So that's what I mean when we need to trust that we are always being guided. And the second is neutrality. I know it's not easy in the moment. But if we can have neutrality when things seem so awful, that's where we really begin to take our power back, because that's when we say, okay, body, I see that you're struggling. I see that there is something out of alignment right now. Show me. Show me how I can support you. Show me how I can serve you. Show me how I can be so embodied within you and support you through this. Show me what in my life I can show up for differently. This isn't about fixing anything. It's about simply making a new decision, a new choice. And trusting that your body knows. Your body knows. Your body always knows. And when we can become neutral and know, it's just an expression. It's just expressing to you its needs and desires and showing you that something is off. And what a blessing. Because, here's the other thing, is if you have been asking for something and then all of a sudden you have all of your physical symptoms showing up, this might actually be the best sign ever, because it might be your body just purging out that old energy so that you can actually have your manifestation drop in. Sometimes we have to clear away the stuff, and sometimes it's not always comfortable. It's not, but if we can allow it and just hold loving space, have neutrality and trust, that's when we begin to alchemize and shift all of the energy. Okay. So this is probably nothing what you expected me to say about health and nutrition, but maybe everything that your soul wanted you to hear. And as with everything, any person you listen to always have discernment and always filter it through your own filter. Maybe it wasn't everything. Maybe it was just one bit in there that you needed to hear, and maybe the rest doesn't resonate at all. But I believe that if you drew this to you, there was something in here for you, that I believe. And maybe it doesn't make sense in the moment, and that's okay too. But trusting that you're on the right track. Your body is simply leading and guiding you to your greatest life, your greatest desires. And that's not always going to feel good. It's the gift of being a sensitive person. And in learning to harness our gifts, we become so much more in tune and learn the language of our body. It really is just about learning the language of our body, which there may be layers. That's okay. But choosing to show up for this body. You chose this body. And if you can learn to fully embody this body that you chose, I believe that is where so many miracles happen. That is where the magic happens. And that's where your greatest life lies. And so with that, my friends, would love to hear your thoughts at Life as Jasmine Elise. Let me know you're listening. Send me a DM and let me know any thoughts that came up for you during this. And until next time, I'm sending you all infinite love and light.